Okay, so yeah, we just want to know first, what's your story? When did you join? Why did you join? What has this business done for you and all that good stuff. So take as long or as little as you need to, and I'll spotlight your video. I don't know where you are. There you are. Okay.
Oh, yes. Look at that big face. Do you guys like this nasty hair fade? I'm getting it done tomorrow. I'm so excited. Hey, guys, I'm Ashleigh Mayfield. I'm a triple diamond, which means absolutely nothing. Like, it means nothing. But I'm excited about it. And so first, just thank you, Morgan, for having me. Like, how cool is this? I just love that we are one team, one mission. I love that we can rely on, other people's strengths and other people, what their giftings are, so I hope that you just receive whatever I have tonight, But I've been with the business for just over 2 years. I joined May 24th, 2016. And it came after, maybe some of you are the same, came after many years of saying network marketing was a scam because I was super, super ignorant. But I followed a stranger on Instagram for about 18 months. And the first 12 of those 18 months, I hated on this girl. And then the last 6 months, I realized, wow, her life has drastically changed in a year. And well, mine still sucks. So then I was like stalking her, right? Like if she's eating Fruity Pebbles, I'm eating Fruity Pebbles. And FOMO is what got me. If you know anything about the color personality, I pride myself. I am a color personality guru. I am convinced there's no one knows it like I do. I'm a dominant red, but man, I'm a secondary blue. And I saw that FOMO and I was like, all right, Heffahhhh, let's go. So I joined, promoted pretty quickly. I wanted to get on that It Works cruise. If y'all were around in 2016, there was a cruise there. Well, I had watched my enroller get on it in 2015. And so I knew I had to go Ruby in order to get it. I didn't even know what Ruby meant. I didn't even care about the money. Not a typical red. I'm not money driven at all. Grew up poor. And so I just I love stuff, but I don't know, never really been good with my money, I guess. But so I got on the cruise, went through a little bit of a drought at Ruby, got to Ruby, sat there. I've lost rank 1 month. Not that there's anything wrong with losing rank, but I'm a dominant red, so I don't know that game. But I lost rank the month I got my husband Ruby. I went down to executive and almost quit in December of 2016. I was not being an effective leader. I've always been passionate about leadership. I've been studying leadership since I was 18. I am 8 classes shy from a bachelor degree from a Bible college in church leadership. So I've always been passionate about influence, pouring into other people, tapping into people's potential and helping take people to the next level. And almost quit in December 2016. Thank God that I just held on. I'm not really even sure why. Probably because I am super prideful. I have an ego. I committed 1 year and I was 5 months shy of that. And I was like, I'm not going to be the girl that goes on Facebook and says that she quit. So I need to just finish out my year. And, God just has amazing timing. His mercies are new every morning. And, I'm not going to preach all this Christian mumbo jumbo stuff. My husband is an ordained minister though. So I was a pastor's wife for a very long time. And, but the reality is I did wake up January 1st and I was like, you know what? New year, new me, boo. And I spent all of 2017 doing self-development, went to conference and went from a low paid Ruby to diamond in 6 weeks. 2 months later, got my husband diamond. 2 months later, got double diamond. Literally went double diamond July 31st of last year. And then I woke up the next day, felt like my entire business was going to fall apart. Y'all ever had those feelings? Like where you're not sure if it's your head, like, did I eat bad sushi or is like this the Holy Spirit? And it was definitely the Holy Spirit. It was like, you are not headed in the right direction of leadership. Being a dominant red, I bulldozed over my team unintentionally to get to where I wanted to go. And I didn't like the direction my leadership was heading in. So I vowed in August of last year that I would not promote until the tribe was ready. And so when I promoted to triple diamond after we left Dallas in April, I literally cried because I was so proud of myself because I'd committed to doing the thing that I said I would do. I completely changed my leadership. Really started tapping into the color personality a year ago this month, and it has just absolutely transformed my entire world. It's transformed me as a human. It's changed my marriage. It's changed my family. And then that has just bled into my tribe. And so here I am today. I am just ever so grateful. Because of It Works, we got to go to marriage counseling in January and February. Because of It Works, in 6 months, we paid off $63,801.99. And I just declared on Facebook today that in the next 12 months, we are going to save $120,000. And so far, we have $57.22 of that. I'm super excited about that. But yeah. That's a little bit about me in a nutshell. I'm absolutely crazy. Morgan has given me permission to be bold, so I hope you guys can embrace that. But that's me.
I love it. Well, it was funny whenever you asked me that you were like, are you sure that, like, do you want me to be like my true self? And I was like, they hear this all the time from me, like just me being super real. Like, they don't get sugar coated with me. So I was like, yeah, go for it. But yeah, okay, so I wrote down some stuff that I just wanted to like highlight from your story, because I think sometimes other people tell their stories, we're like focused on like the cool things, like, oh my gosh, you're triple diamond, and like they don't hear anything else. Yep. So just make sure that y'all heard some of this stuff. Like, she said that she went from a low paid ruby to diamond in 6 weeks, right?
Yes.
And then 2 months later you went double.
2 months later, I got my husband diamond. And then 2 months after that, I went double. So I went through a massive, massive growth spurt a year ago. My tribe has always been growing. There's, I firmly believe there's 3 parts to this industry. And maybe some of you are frustrated tonight. Hopefully I can shine a little bit of light on that. The first part you have to nail is recruiting and enrolling. All right. You all might have that down to a T. You might not do it as much as you want. You might not be a top recruiter, but I don't think you would have showed up 10 p.m. Eastern time on a Zoom if like recruiting and enrollment wasn't important to you. So that's always step number 1. Step number 2, or the evolution of your business, so to say. There's not one thing that's more important than the other, but the first thing you want to grasp is recruiting and enrolling. The second thing is leadership. Right? You have to develop leadership. And the third part is duplication. You can't have duplication without leadership, and your business isn't going to thrive without leadership. So for me, I had the recruiting and the enrolling down, but I sat at Ruby for 7 to 9 months, and I was frustrated. And in December of 2016, I almost quit. Every day I cried for 31 days. It got to the point where my husband, who I wouldn't even be here if he didn't support me. I'm very grateful. I have an amazing, amazing husband. Oh, Lord, he is so sexy. But he sat me down in December, and he was just like, I don't want you to quit, but if you need to step away, like, I can't have you doing this. So if you need to step away, I'll support you. I don't want you to, but I'll support you. And I'm just so thankful that, like, I don't know what it was, probably just my stubbornness and my pride and my ego wouldn't let me throw in the towel because I was afraid of how people would perceive me as. But it was in that defining moment that I started doing self-development. And I knew if I wanted to, my team was falling apart. I knew leadership. I didn't know how to take the leadership that I knew from years of experience on church staff, from corporate world. I was a retail manager. I didn't know how to take that gift set and implement it into this environment. And so I started doing that.
Sorry, I'm working on it. Okay.
You're okay. I started implementing leadership. Okay. I started implementing leadership in January of 2017. And so that's really what started that growth spurt, was not only me attending conference and getting the fire from that, really understanding my why through self-development. But then I was just going self-development by the time I hit a year ago, August. Like I said, I just didn't like the direction that my leadership was going in, because I wasn't seeing the duplication, that third entity of what this business offers. And so that's when I started really being specific and honing in on exactly the direction that my leadership needed to go in. Because a lot of people do self-development, but you're not being effective with it. That's kind of like we can be consistent in our business, but we're not being effective. Those are two different things. You can't grow your network unless you're consistent, and you can be consistent all day long, but if you're not effective, you're just on the hamster wheel. And so I got to the point where my leadership was on that hamster wheel, what I deemed is in a negative way, and I needed it to shift. So that's kind of the evolution of my business.
So I like that because I kind of had the same type of thing. So, I don't want people to think that it's weird to go through those times. And I know that a lot of my team is like so new. Like we have people that have been in for a while too, but my team has just grown so much that there's so many people who are brand new and they're my leaders and they're like brand new in this business. They joined this year. And so I think a lot of them are in those leadership positions and, leadership isn't a rank, it's an attitude, but a lot of them are in the Ruby Emerald area and they're starting to learn like, oh shoot, I have to be a leader. What the heck am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know how to be a leader. And so then that's where I come in and where I'm in the duplication stage of my business where like, I know how to enroll. Like, that's not a big deal. And like leadership, like I'm working on that. I feel like I've grown a lot in that area. And now I'm in the duplication, not only with enrollments, but also with leadership. Like, cause they've moved from the enrollment phase to leadership and I'm trying to duplicate what I've been doing in my leadership. And so just know that, if you are in that stage where you're Ruby, Emerald, Diamond, and you're really like, I don't know how to be a leader, it's okay. It takes time. It takes intentional personal development and applying that personal development and being like searching motivation.
Yes.
Hang on, let
What
me.
the heck? We're supposed to be watching a show. I gotta go to work in the morning.
Okay, so you'll have to unmute yourself in a minute. But so what was I gonna say? Oh, so ADD. But anyway, so what was I saying?
You're talking about Ruby, Emerald, leadership, duplicating that if you're struggling as a Ruby or an Emerald.
Yeah, I don't know. Basically, that was all I was going to say. And so then I know you said that you almost quit in December 2016. We actually have a lot in common, more than I knew, because I was a retail manager too. And you said that you almost quit in December 2016. I almost quit in December 2015. And a huge part in the reason why I didn't quit, and like whenever I say I almost quit, the only reason I didn't is because I had earned a free cruise, and it was the one to Mexico the year before the one that you went to, because I went to both, but this was 2015, so it was the Mexico year, and I earned that cruise, and I was thinking in my head, like, dude, I don't want to do this business anymore. I've been sitting at Ruby for 9 months. I had totally lost my focus on why I joined this business, which is for an extra $100 a month. I was over here making 7 times that amount and then getting mad at everybody else for what I hadn't done. And so anyway, so then I went on that cruise and got near the fire again, and I was just so excited. And so take that from her, she was like, yeah, just like, I don't know why I stayed. Like, it was like my pride, my ego. And then she started talking about getting around people and just hearing like all of their testimonies and getting near people that had the same mindset as her. And that's what I did. And that seriously will keep you in this business, because you feel like you're so alone sometimes. And it makes you feel like you want to quit, but you have got to get to events. Like, you have to. You have to get to events, whether it's a one team, one mission in your area, or whether it's Grand Rapids Green Carpet. Hey, I live in Grand Rapids. You should come see me. Whatever you can get to, get there. And if it requires sacrifice, get there anyways, because you can't afford not to go to these events. Just want to make a plug for that. You talked about self-development. We need to make sure, that was what I was saying. Don't type in motivation on YouTube. Like, literally find a book to read or to listen to on Audible. And a tip that I heard from someone was, don't just have one book. Have multiple books that you're reading through at one time, because like if you're reading, like I'm reading right now, You Are a Badass, Present Over Perfect, and Millionaire Success Habits, because not every single day I need to read Present Over Perfect. Not every day my mind is ready to hear that. Some days I'm like, okay, I need to hear Millionaire Success Habits and get pumped up. And then other days I need to hear, like, just depending on the book. So find a book or 3 that you can get into and start reading those and really dig into that personal development and find that leadership. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, I love your goals. Do you hear how specific she was? So I'll have you talk about this and touch on this a little bit more, actually. So you paid off your debt, but your biggest thing with paying off your debt was setting the goal, and you're like, well, how are we going to know how to pay off this debt if we don't know how much money we owe? And so that's why you gave such a specific number. I don't know if y'all caught that, but will you tell them a little bit about like literally the actual amount, why you decided that you need to know that, and why that was so important for you to actually hit that goal?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, while I'm doing that, I would love if you guys could just be vulnerable. You know, there's 80 people on here. I snuck on. If you're not on my team, then that's fine. Or if you're on my team, you don't need to say it. But whoever's here, I want you to write what you're struggling with in the chat. Okay, let's just shoot straight tonight because we probably have, 38 minutes left. But for us, we have always made decent money between me and my husband just in our careers since we've been married. But we have always been very stupid with our money, if I could just shoot straight with you guys. And so here we are, both diamonds. I hit double and we're making up for lost time, man. We bought like annual passes to Disney World. We're going out to eat. We're going to the movies. Like we're doing this, that, and the other. But every year of our marriage, we have just been done with our money. You know, we're the people that'll spend $800 a month in groceries and go out to eat 3 nights a week. Right. And so we had moved all over the country for jobs with my husband's career. And unfortunately, we have been fired from more positions than I can even count. Like our resumes suck. So when we moved to Florida in 2015, which is when I started watching my upline, we said that we wanted to get out of debt. And we said that we wanted to create multiple streams of income. That way we were no longer bound to a single entity. And so It Works was only 200 to 300 guys. That 200 to 300, that was it. I looked my husband dead in the face the day I joined and said, I'm not making $500. Like, I can't see that, but I can see 200 to 300. It's a stream. Okay. That was all it was meant to be. And so as it started progressing, it was like, well, holy crap, like this really could be something. Right. And as I developed, because I committed that year. So I finished my year and I was boom, 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 boom. Things were progressing. Well, every year in our marriage, we've lived for tax time. Like, right? How many of you are on here that are living for tax time? That $3,000 to $5,000 check. If you got kids, you're like, oh, thank you, baby, for being born. Y'all know what I'm saying? Okay, Heffahhhh, I know I'm not the only one. And Morgan, you don't know about that yet, girl. You're gonna learn real quick, okay? But good thing you're a little bit more financially secure now. So we always lived for income tax time, and I just remember last summer. And Jason had brought it up a couple times too, but I just remember saying, we need a plan. We need a plan. I felt the pressure almost. And we actually thought we had maybe around $50,000 in debt. It was credit cards and student loans. That's all we had. And we'd actually went credit card free prior to me even joining It Works. And then we racked up all of our credit cards again. So about 30-something thousand in student loans, 30-something thousand in credit cards. And so Jason, he is my dominant green. I am negative 37% green. He is a dominant green. So he sat down, he made us a budget for where our money goes. He made us a budget of all of our debt. And he made a plan. And the number was very specific, $63,801.99. And we did all of that, you guys, on double diamond. I did not go triple until we were debt free. Now, I was a high paid triple. I was making my first 5-figure check was in February. That's because I had worked on that leadership. That's because I started working on that duplication that I was talking about. Anything that you are struggling with, and I'm excited to read these, anything that you're struggling with, guys, always internal. 100% internal. Change can come 2 different ways. It can come from the outside in, but oftentimes it's got to come from the inside out, right? And so we got very specific, and we firmly believe unless you have a specific down to the penny of what you need in debt. I have a lot of people in the tribe. I want to go debt free. How much debt do you have? I don't know. Then Heffahhhh, you don't want to go debt free. Like, it's bottom line. It's not rocket science, y'all. I'm not a green. Like, hello. All right. So, I mean, you either know it or you don't. You're either serious or you're not. And I anticipated, my faith said 12 months. My faith was like, any year we could do that. Like maybe, because that meant we had to bring in an additional amount of money. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Like it already costs us X amount of dollars just to live. This was an additional that we had to bring in. And we not only did that, but then 2 months later, we put $25,000 in our savings account. So within 8 months, we brought in, because of It Works, because of the comp plan, because of promoting, because of working on my leadership, I was in duplication. I was able to take advantage of our comp plan and the match it bonus and promoting to triple. And we were able to increase our finances within an 8-month period of time, over $88,000. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. So that's our little debt-free story. We love it, and we've got shirts made. And I love how last night, like, Cammie shouted you out on the Zoom, and then Mark turned around and shouted me out. I was like, okay, Heffahhhh, they can feel it too. So they just felt us, Morgan. They felt us vibing.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. That's so true, because like you're talking about debt free, like I literally have 2 checks on my wall, and I tell my team this all the time. Like I have 2 checks. One is a check for the exact amount, like, and it's like from me to my bank, or like the bank that we have the loan through. So like for Derek's car, exactly what we need to pay his car off. And then there's a second one for me, exactly what I need down to the cent, like we know. And it's actually different than that now because we're paying them off. And, you know, we paid for our wedding completely debt free. Like, we don't want to be in debt anymore. And like, we have such a bigger vision, because whenever I went diamond, I was like, woo, I'm going to go get my hair done. I'm going to go to I'm going to get Lulu's. I was like, yes. And now, like, I literally don't care about that anymore. Like, I go shop at Goodwill, and I'm like, I'm paying my car off, you know? And so anyways, it's just all about mindset, and it's all about goals. And I love that you said that you wanted to save up $120,000 in 1 year. And so I'm thinking,
can I say this real quick, guys? And I wrote a status about this the other day. You guys know that getting fat tastes better than getting skinny, and that like spending money is cooler than paying off debt. Like, it didn't feel good, okay, to pay off debt. It did not feel good. But what happened is, me and my husband, we aligned our goals together, and we made it become a family thing. Our kids knew about it. They sat down. Our children were 8 and 5 at the time, or 8 and 4. And our oldest just turned 8. Our youngest was about to turn 5. And like, we talked them through it. It became a family thing. No, we can't do that because we're going debt free. No, we can't go there because we're going debt free. No, mom can't eat sushi tonight because we're going debt free. And we had this singular focus. And so when you have that and your hands aren't in all these different pots, when you are focused on that one thing, you know, when you have that macro goal, and we all have macro goals, right? I want to be debt free. I want to come home to my babies. I want to, you know, sign my next ambassador. Can I just say, I freaking hate that saying. I hate the saying, well, you can find your own rock star. No, freaking look in the mirror. That is your first rock star. Why do you think, if you understand the comp plan, why do you think you are your first generation? You are your first rock star. So if you want to go looking for your rock star, look within yourself. And if you're like, well, my team's not working, well, I can't duplicate because there's something broken inside of you. I cannot stand that we say that. And that's no disrespect to anybody in our company, but it's like, we need to talk about more how we need to stop trying to market. We need to stop trying to like fluff stuff up in hopes to find our next ambassador. No, you should become your first ambassador. Let's talk about that, heifer. Okay. So that was a side note. Y'all got that for free. But you know, when you have this singular focus, we all have these macro goals. That's what I was saying. But what we're not struggling. Well, some of us are struggling with macro goals. I often struggle. I'm not a typical red. I'm not money driven, and I have a hard time dreaming. That's because I grew up very, very poor. Okay. I grew up scarcity. I grew up thinking success was bad. That's what I was told. And so I had some junk I had to work through, some mindset stuff when I first joined. Okay. That's the evolution of my business. Right. But these macro goals, for most of us, it's pretty easy. Right. But what we struggle with is the micro goals, the day to day, the discipline, I don't feel like it, but I know it needs to get done, because we're not, so that matters. So, you know, when you're looking at these goals, it's, yeah, you want to go debt free, but if you don't have specifics on the macro goals, it's not going to drive those micro goals. So it's a little bit about that.
I love that. And I love, earlier, last thing is, because we're still talking about your story, but this has all been so good. But the other thing you said was, you know, we want to save $120,000 in the next 12 months. And I was like, okay, like that's like an awesome goal. Like probably have some of that in there, you know, and you were like, we have $57.22. And that was really cool to me because, you know, like it's not, you're not dreaming that big, which that's like, for me, even so, I'm like, that's like an awesome goal. Like, that's a big goal. And, like, in a good way. And for you to not be close, I love that you're still dreaming that big. Like, that you're like, oh, it doesn't matter if we have $50 or $50,000. Like, we're gonna have $120,000 saved. And I think a lot of people, to say a number that big, looking at what you have and what you're wanting, would get like so intimidated by that. But you're not. You're like, we're gonna do it. And
oh no, it scares the crap out of me. I mean, don't read into it. Yeah, I mean, it's in my head. I mean, I'm pretty sure my husband could even say it. Like, it just is kind of like, oh snap. But you know what? We're focused. We know exactly where the money is divided up to. We have 3 different entities that it's going towards, and we're just tired. We guys, we don't live a bougie life. Okay. We make good money in this business, but we don't live a bougie life. We live in a rented house right now. We have 2 cars that are literally breaking down outside. Like 2 cars that, like, the furthest we drive in our Dodge Journey is to Disney World. And it's not even an older car. It's 2011. It's not like it's, well, I guess 7 years is a long time, but is it 2000? It's 2011. Anyways. But like, we don't have nice stuff. But the next stuff, we are not going to go into debt. So we want to have a down payment for a house. We need to save for our taxes. We need to save to buy a car cash. And like, it is driven. It's an internal drive though, because although that number scares me, I mean, that's a freaking lot of money, like that scares the crap out of me. And I'm kind of like, we want to do this in the next 12 months, but realistically, we want to do this by April or May. And I'm a lot further than I was a year ago, but we started our debt-free journey the end of October of last year, and we went debt-free April 14th or April 13th. And it's just like, if we could do that, and we're so much further in our business, our tribe is more established, what more could we do this year? And so we're just throwing it to the wind. But what's going to drive me is like, my babies have no business riding in a car that can break down at any moment. I have no business living in a rented house. I got no business. Some of you guys tolerate your life right now. That's why you're not going anywhere. You don't have specifics about your macro goal. You're not looking at it and being like, holy crap. Like, I have a girl who joined because she wanted to come home with her babies. And then, something bad happened in her life. And she's like, well, I can't work my business because my babies need me. And I hope she's not on right now. I'm not going to say her name. She might be on. I don't know. But she's like, well, I can't work my business because my babies need me. And I was like, so you want to feel good now so you can suffer later. Or you could suffer now and feel amazing later. I just got off of a leader meeting with my emerging leaders. Every Monday night, I meet with my rubies and my emeralds, non-negotiable. You don't show up, I'll kick you out. I don't play. If you spending time away from my family, I'm spending time away, you gonna show up. But I just, I told them that the same thing. Hey, some of us don't want to sacrifice the now for the later. Maybe you have weight to lose. You need to put the freaking donut down, and you need to get your weight loss results. I know you and Cammie got a little competition. Girl, you best win that competition. Go win it. Some of you don't want to do the things to do because you're driven by your emotions. Maybe you're that blue. Maybe you're that dominant yellow. You have a hard time putting yourself in the driver's seat. Like, all I knew is the first 31 years of my life went in a direction that I didn't want to go in. And so how much longer are you going to go in the direction you don't want to be in? It's your choice. It's up to you.
I love that. And that kind of goes into the next question, which I love the way that you kind of already answered it, but then I want you to go in a little bit more detail too. So the question was, and I didn't say balance because we always talk about like there is no balance. Like, you're never going to be able to balance.
I love that. I hate that word.
You're never going to be able to balance this business. Like, you can't balance like everything all at once. So you can Google color personalities. There's like a quiz for it and all that stuff. We can get into it later if we have time, but just Google it. So I said, how do you blend being a wife, mom, and a distributor? And a lot of what you said just then kind of pertains to that, because you were like, I'm going to tell my kids no now so we can say yes later. And so it's like self-explanatory, like you join for them. And so you're not going to let that, like, you're not going to let them become your excuse why you won't do this. And
can I just speak into that real quick? And I'm definitely going to get emotional on this. I want you guys to know that most weeks, not every day, most weeks, I feel like a loser wife and a loser mom. I do not show up for my husband. He is a patient man with me. I do not show up for my kids. They get the back burner. I am a dominant red. I am very selfish, and I'm very selfish with my goals. But you know what? Within 23 months of this business, because I've been focused, there are a few non-negotiables. All right. We already have non-negotiables in our marriage, but, communication obviously is key. My husband and my kids, they're fine. I feel guilt. That's my blue. I feel the guilt of it. But guys, in 23 months of putting my head down, I don't struggle with comparison. I don't follow nobody. Like, I just don't. I keep my head down and I stay in my lane. And I don't know why that is. Probably my dominant red, because I'm just arrogant enough not to look to the left or the right. But guys, I feel like a loser wife and a loser mom. And instead of, I hate the word balance. So thank you, because I hear the word balance from so many other leaders. And I'm just like, it doesn't exist. Let's be honest. Is there a finesse? Absolutely. And that's where communication with my husband and communication with my kids know. But don't get it twisted that we just spent 5 days at Disney. My kids went back to school today. We just spent the last 5 days at Disney. Probably the worst thing I could have done for my business right now, but it needed to happen because I needed to spend time with my family. But that's the benefit, is I get to take my business with me. And yeah, did my 5-year-old look me dead in the face and said, "Mom, put your phone down"? Yeah, she did. And immediately I was like, but you know what? My husband looked her dead in the face and said, "Do you know mommy's phone paid for this trip? So no, she doesn't have to put her phone down right now." And were there times where I get to step away from my phone? Yeah, you know what? And that's something that my husband's helping me with. No, I need us to go to Disney. As much as it's not good for my business right now because I need to focus, I need to go to the water park, because at water park, I can't carry my phone. So we need to go to Typhoon Lagoon. We need to go play in the water. So I'm away from my phone. And, I love control, guys. Why do I have a successful business? I'm so sick and tired of leaders at large talking about how control is a bad thing. You want to know why your business isn't successful? Because you probably don't have control. Are you playing offense or defense? Are you being proactive or are you not? Are you waiting for your team to ask for help? Or are you saying, "Hey, I see this, and I'm going to come save you whether you like it or not, because I'm not here to be your friend. You didn't join me to be your friend. You joined me to trust you, to take you across the finish line. And heifer, if I got to drag you by the weave, I got to drag you by the fake eyelashes, I'm going to do it. And you're either going to hate me for it and you're going to quit and you're going to say, you know what, that Ashleigh Mayfield, you don't want to join her, man. She takes your goals real serious." But they ain't never going to say, "Ashleigh didn't care about me. Ashleigh got paid off of me and she left." So you know what? Yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice when my daughter is 7, 8, 9, 10, because if I keep going at the same rate in the next 20 months, I'm going to be a top 20, top 10 leader. I got no doubt about it. I'm freaking running at Stephanie and Joel Dunn. I ain't looking at no other person. They're on my dream board for a reason. It actually says, what would WWJNSD? What would Joel and Stephanie do? So every time I get lazy, I'm looking at them. So you know what? I feel like a loser mom and I feel like a loser wife a lot of the times. But you know what my husband said? Keep open communication with me and have sex with me. And I know if there's any men on here, they're saying amen. My husband's probably on here and he's like, "Oh girl, amen." Okay, listen, y'all want to shoot straight. This is marriage. I'm getting real tonight. This is the crap people don't want to talk about. So yeah, you know what? I keep my man happy. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You keep your man happy. You have that communication with them. Find out what's important to them. He only drives now. That way I can be on my phone. We have moments where it's like, okay, we don't bring our phone to the dinner table. We try to eat dinner as a family as many times as we can. We don't always. We're not a perfect family. We don't eat there all the time. And let's be honest, it's 2018. Who really sits down and eats dinner as a family all the time? But we try to as much as possible. But we have open communication with our kids. Hey, here's our goals. Hey, here's what we're doing. This is why. So we get to sit down and show our kids, hey, this is the car that we want to buy. This is the house we want to go live in. Here's some pictures. We got to tour it. We got to look around. Like, this is the type of house we want. Wouldn't this be cool to have this? Wouldn't it be cool to paint your wall because we can't do it now? When you have that communication, it alleviates some of that. And I will tell you this, I'm married to an amazing man, because what I lack in the household, my husband does it all, you guys. He gets the kids up, he feeds the kids, he bathes the kids, he does the laundry, he cleans the kitchen. Like that's how he shows up. Does he love it? Nope. Is that his gift set? Nope. Does he do it different than I do and it drives me nuts sometimes? Yup. But guess what? That's just the role that we're in right now. And it's just a season. And we have open communication, how it's just a season. But that's just the way it goes. So I don't necessarily have the best. I like to use the word finesse instead of balance. There's a finesse, there's an ebb, and there's a flow. And there's an effective way and a non-effective way to do things. And although it doesn't always feel good, and I have that guilt from being that blue of being judged and not being acceptable and being inadequate, I struggle with that. Not all the time, but there's moments it hits me. But the finesse, we have it as effective as we possibly can with our lifestyle and with who we are as people.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing and being like so open with us. We really appreciate that. So yeah, and I love what you said too, and that was like a lot for me, with the defense offense thing that you said. Because I think, and if y'all, just pay attention to this, whether you have a team or not right now, because one day you will, and hopefully you'll look back and remember this, and it will be helpful for you if it's not right now, if it doesn't pertain to you necessarily yet. So like last year, I think that, my business was really great, but I think it peaked. And so whenever it like shot up fast, it fell fast too. And that was because I wasn't attacking things head on. I wasn't being offensive. I was watching things happen and then trying to fix it as like after it already happened. And so this year I've made it a priority to look at different things that are happening in my business and saying, okay, today, do I see excitement? Do I see passion and fire like I normally do for my team? And if I don't, then I reach out to the leaders and I talk to them about it. And then, if I'm like, okay, like, is everybody doing personal development? Is everybody encouraging one another? And, how are your enrollments? How is your, like, I'll watch the volumes in certain spots of my chart. And
Absolutely.
Volumes falling here, it's going up here. What is this team doing that they can share with this team? Is it because they're enrolling a ton, or is it because they have really good customer retention and they're just completing their steps? What is it? What's the difference? And by me doing that this year, my paychecks have gone so high, and they've also been so consistent. And my volume has been so consistent, but always going up, like consistent. And continuously going up, and I'm like, that's never happened before.
When you guys understand leadership, I literally just got done saying this. I'm totally going to cut you off. Sorry, Morgan. I just got done saying this on my emerging leader meeting, because I know some of them are at the fork in the road. You get to this point where you're so frustrated. And that's where I was in December of 2016. It's like, heifer, I'm either going to throw in the towel or I'm mother trucking going all in. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going all in, and I'm going to fall flat on my face and I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm across the line. And so like, you're at this fork in the road. And, one of the things that's so powerful about tapping into that leadership, that second entity of the evolution of your business, is that this month right now is the second lowest month for enrollment Ashleigh Mayfield has had. Okay. That pains me to say that. That hurts my ego a little bit. Okay. So thank you, Morgan, for having me on. My ego's getting heightened a little bit. Okay. But that sucks for me. This is not, how many of y'all are diamond and above? Just go ahead and drop it in the chat below. Y'all know this ain't the month to play, heifers. Okay. Like, we got the money. Okay. And I got some big freaking goals, and I got to increase the 5722. I'm only like 119 shy. You know what I'm saying? And so like, this isn't the month for me to go to Disney. Going to Disney, I have potential distributors coming out of my butthole, like legit. Okay. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to be a product tester first? I'm having those conversations. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I am desperate for volume. Okay. But the beauty in when you have established leadership, see, my tribe, I don't have to tell them I'm working. I don't have to show them my hustle. They see it. It is natural. I am a hands-on control leader, okay? No micromanaging. We don't do that. We don't micromanage. That's bad. Control, I lead and I manage. Those people want to rag on management and they want to rag on control like it's a bad thing. Absolutely not. Because every time I've done it, my paycheck has gone up. But you want to know the benefit is when it's not Ashleigh Mayfield's best month. You know, I enrolled 25 distributors last month, which I was super happy for. Right now, as of August 13th, I have 14 of them fast started and cabbed. They've earned their shopping spree. They have more than 2 customers. They're over 150 volume in the bag. 14 out of 25. I've enrolled 4 customers this month. 4. Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed to come on a Zoom and say that, okay? 4. This is a low month for Ashleigh Mayfield. Now, I'm always a steps to success girl, but every month, with the exception of 1 so far, I've done my steps to success 3 times. This is a really good year. That, like 2017, I just did it once. Okay, my leadership, my duplication has evolved. But I am an attraction marketing leader. I am all social media. So the benefit of you understanding leadership, those of you that say you're struggling with your leadership, freaking figure it out. And figure it out yesterday. And you need to hang on long enough, baby, to figure this out, that you guys are, those of you, if you've been on for at least 12 months, you like turn the thinking cap on. You know Mark is going to come out with something in February. You know conference is going to be another big push, another big financial increase, right? So maybe you didn't max on the $20. I saw some comments in here. I'm a $20 distributors. Boo-hoo, okay? We all have the little Cracker Jacks that just came and then they gone, right? But if it wasn't your best season right now, guess what? You get to spend the next 4 months establishing your leadership, starting to transition from leadership to duplication. That way, when February comes around, you're going to capitalize on that. You're going to capitalize on that. Or you're going to leave and you're going to go to another company thinking you can get it thicker, faster, quicker, stronger, whatever Kanye song you want to pull out of your butt. And no, your problem's going to follow you, boo, because you're the issue. Because like I said, everything is always internal. Always. So the beauty of establishing that leadership is when it's not your strongest month, you're coaching, you're leading, you're doing one-on-ones, your team sending screenshots, and you have the time because you're still doing your daily discipline. I'm still doing my daily stuff. I'm planting more seeds than I'm harvesting. And guess what? It is still my highest month in group volume. I track my group volume every morning I wake up. I am 4 days ahead of where I was last month, and last month was my highest group volume ever. Leadership. I've established leadership. So you gotta know how to be, I was actually labeled the dark horse. Really weird. I got to go into Mark's office. I'm like, why am I here, Cammie? Why am I here? It was a super cool opportunity though. I was very, very grateful. So leadership is absolutely important, you guys. If you don't, I saw a ton of, your blues, you're going to struggle with it. Your yellows, you're going to struggle with it. I love yellows. I have a special place in my heart for yellows. Dominant greens, you're going to struggle with it. That leadership, it doesn't mean that you're not effective if you're that color. No, absolutely not. I love our business. I love life. You can be any color, dominant color, and you can absolutely succeed. I love some of our top leaders. It's just like a little rainbow up there. I love it. You don't have to be a red. There are strengths and there are opportunities to every single color, every personality. A red green is different than a green red, okay? But at the same time, I know for reds, because we have that natural instinct, it comes probably just a little bit easier for us, but there's other weaknesses there too. So, but you get to figure it out. You get to figure it out on the inside, and you get to tap into it, and you get to increase your paycheck, and you get to promote.
I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like so hopeful right now. Like, I don't know if that's like the feeling that y'all have, but like, I love that you just are saying like, I wasn't always like this, but like I figured it out. Like I wasn't just like, hey, I joined Networks today and I'm a really great leader and I know how to teach duplication. I know how to lead a big team. Like
absolutely not. And you know what I'm very grateful for? I have a leader that I have utmost respect for her. We have probably butt heads so many times because she's a dominant green, I'm a secondary blue, and those are opposites. So same reason why me and my husband had to go to marriage counseling. He's a dominant green, I'm a secondary blue. So where there's logical thinking, I'm all feeling. And but I'm so thankful. And she's like, Ashleigh, you're such a liar. Like you could have enrolled under anybody because it was all within you. No, I could have never enrolled under anyone but my leader because she's that dominant green, where it was very much, she went presidential her first year in the business. And she has a leadership where it's very much like, well, I did it, so you can do it too. And it's just very hands-off and distant, which I needed that environment for me to figure it out. And sometimes we're waiting for, our upline to save us, or that, no, you get to save yourself. You get to figure it out for yourself, because you know what? I don't need nobody now. I'm not paralyzed. I'm not riding the coattail of anyone. I'm not walking into rooms. I'm not asked to be on the microphone because my upline is like, oh, you need to check out Ashleigh Mayfield. She's amazing. No, I got corporate's attention. It's all on me. And y'all know that just feeds my ego. And it just drives me. And so I've made a name for myself. And you want to know what that means? That means no one can take it away from me, because I know how to do it, because I took time, because I had an opportunity to walk away. I could have let myself go. But I was tired of the way that my life was. And guess what? Your new life is going to cost you your old. And so you get to change, and you get to figure it out, and you get to dig yourself out of your own rut. And I promise you can. There is nothing greater on the inside of me that is not inside of you guys. I promise you. I promise you.
Oh, this is so good. Okay, one last question. We're just going to end with this, however long it takes. If it's 8 minutes, that's great. If it's not, we'll end a little bit.
Girl, you got to end it, because I'll talk all night. I love the sound of my voice.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Obviously, I already know, like, everything is not perfect in your life and in your business, and you've kind of already said that. So a lot of people think that people who are excited and passionate all the time, everything must be perfect. So they're like, well, everything's going great. Like, of course Ashleigh's excited. She's a triple diamond. Of course she's, passionate. She's making so much money and she's debt free. And so how, like, I know that's not true. So how do you stay so excited and so passionate and so motivated, even whenever it's hard? Even whenever your team, you feel like they're not working, even whenever you feel like you're alone, or that your enrollments are down this month or whatever, how do you still stay excited and motivated? And how do you, like, trickle that down to your team?
Guys, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I think when you have failed so many times, and, some of you guys just haven't failed enough. I think when you have failed so many times just in life, I have always been in positions where God has ripped me out of situations numerous times. I'm really good at stopping and starting. If tomorrow we had to up and move across the country, no problem. Like I said, we've been fired more times than I can count. One day I wake up and the next day, I go to sleep, everything's normal. The next day I wake up, my entire life is turned upside down. I can count on two hands probably more than two hands, how many times that's happened to me in my life. With that being said, I have lived 31 years of my life being a victim. I have lived 31 years of my life blaming my circumstances, blaming my parents, who are, this is recorded, so we just gonna keep it at that. I blame 31 years of my life, or I've lived 31 years of my life counting myself out, expecting to fail because nothing ever happened. So why even try? I'm gonna lose anyways, and when you do enough self-development, where you actually start believing in yourself, and you actually say, you know what? I might be called to change the world. I might be called to pour into people. I might be called to have influence over someone. I take it serious, you guys. I take my development. It is a non-negotiable. Every day I do self-development, like air to my lungs. It is a non-negotiable. People that tell me they don't have time, I call BS every time. You can lie to yourself, but you ain't gonna lie to me. I speak that candid with some of my team, you guys. I know their personality colors, though. In my reds and my greens, I speak very candid to them. You ain't gonna lie to me. You lie to yourself all you want, because you got to live with yourself at the end of the day. But I lied to myself for 31 years, and I am not going to do it anymore. And, when you see the fruit of your labor, when you see the fruit of the change that has taken place, the confidence in the woman that I am not the same woman I was a year ago, and I'm not the same woman I was 2 years ago, and I'm not the same woman I was 3 years ago. There is a constant, tangible, evident evolution in my life. And when you see that and when you taste it, you can't help but want that to duplicate. You can't help but want that bad enough. And that's why, I lead my tribe with parameters. We have one system. We are one unit, and you can operate your business outside of the parameters. I don't micromanage. I don't care. But you want coaching from me. You want me to lead you. You want me to, you're going to do it on my turf. This is my turf. It's my tribe. It's my timetable. And when you guys, when you see that change, when you understand that you are worthy of so much more than where you are at, you guys don't even get it. You don't get it. On May 23rd of 2017, I was a diamond and I just got my husband diamond. Guys, I was an average diamond making just over 2,000, maybe 2,500. I watched The Secret on Netflix. And I hate, when people say, like, what books are you reading right now? I want to read whatever you're reading. Well, Heffahhhh, God gave me this book for a reason right now in my season, and I highly doubt you right where I'm at, okay? But I watched The Secret, and I just remember that night I had a team meeting, and I was like, guys, I want you to write whatever amount that seems crazy to you on a piece of paper, and I want you to put it above your toilet paper roll. And I'm going to challenge all of you guys to do the same thing. If you never watched The Secret, watch Secret. It's a little dry. It's a little like somewhere between Jesus and voodoo. Just lean over to Jesus. Forget the voodoo stuff, okay? But I wrote $6,000. I wrote $6,000. I was nowhere near making my check. I don't do this whole me and my husband's check. No, Heffahhhh, my checks are 5 figures, okay? Some people want to pull that. I'm always going to shoot straight, okay? So I wanted Ashleigh Mayfield's check, $6,000, not Ashleigh and Jason. And I wrote that down on May 23rd of 2017. And do you realize that last year at Green Carpet, Mark did the $9.99? And do you realize on August 15th, when my check deposited, it was $6,030. $6,030. That was the first time I was like, I'm worthy of so much more than what I've ever imagined in my life. And that note is sitting above my, right over here where my, it's behind my giant freaking light that's shining on. So you guys hopefully don't see all the grease on my face. I got to have that, Instagram look, because I know this is being recorded. But it's behind my light on the wall. $6,030. Crazy. And so then I said, what's next? Guys, some of you just need to say, what's next? One of the biggest things that derails people is success. Success will make or break a person. We see that, right? Some of you guys might have had a leader that's left. You might have had a friend that's left in the business. Why? People get comfortable. They don't have a what's next. I have learned with my personality that I need a what's next. When we were going debt-free in March, we knew that in April it was happening. We had set a goal April 30th, and then we started realizing with my pay, because I started making 5 figures, it was like, holy crap, we're going to do this like with April commissions. So when March commissions dropped, I had 30 days. I was like, Jason, I need another goal. I need another goal, because it's like, if you sit, you're dead. If you sit, if you tie, you die. If you tie your momentum with your goal, you die. Tell me I'm wrong. You got to have a what's next. And so I had a what's next, right? I start writing down that I want 3 diamonds. As of last month, I think it's like 12 or 13 diamonds. Maybe it was 9. I don't remember how many diamonds I had, but like massive growth. We're just spitting out diamonds left and right, and people are promoting. And now I've got above my toilet paper roll and right here, it's got like food and keto coffee on it, but I'm worthy of a $25,000 check. That's my next goal. All these goals that I've written on my dream board on December 28th, we have recorded team Zoom. I have on my dream board that our tribe is going to go international. We just went to Canada. I specifically want Australia, though. I said that I would be on stage. You guys realize December 28th, I had no business being on stage, but somehow Cammie Pentecost slides in my DM and says I'm going to speak at Dallas. And then she told me I was going to speak at Bradenton, and I'm going to be speaking on stage at Grand Rapids. So I don't know who I got to sleep with to make that happen, but that's going to happen. I have Joel and Stephanie Dunn on there at Dallas. My husband made a friendship with Joel. I don't even know how it happened. Like, I'm intimidated by crap. Spent the day with Stephanie at the ranch. Pretty sure I said hi to her. I can't even talk to her. I can't even breathe. Like, I'm not unworthy to breathe the same air as her. But they're like our Facebook friends, and they talk all the time. It's weird. I said that we were going to go debt free, and we're going to have $100,000 profit. You guys realize in 2 months, we'd already put 25 grand away and we're on track to have a $100,000 profit this year. And I remember that's the only goal. My husband, the visionary, it's the only goal he was hesitant on. I have 54 rubies in. I forgot to add July in there, but at the end of June, we had 29 rubies halfway through the year. And I was already more than 50% to my goal. Guys, it's just when you do self-development, y'all ever have those moments, and we can end in just a second because I'll go literally talk all night. But y'all ever have those moments where there's two different ways that we kind of see our life, right? We either have these hindsight moments where we're like, oh, hey, remember how that happened a year ago? Like the light bulb goes off and like you see how it all worked out. But then there's those moments when you're walking through the situation and it's almost like you see the hand of God on your life and you see why things are happening, this, that, and the other. And, you know, as I started doing self-development and as I started effectively asking myself, Ashleigh, what's next? Okay, so you've established your leadership. What's next? Okay, so you started the color personality. What's next? I am always saying what's next. And as you start doing that and you see your life change, you become so freaking passionate for other people to taste it and to see it. And it is my job to wake up every day and to decide that I am going to say what's next. It is my job to decide that I'm going to be a leader. It is my job to decide that I am going to choose joy, that I am going to choose optimism. Does that mean that I go without bad days? Absolutely not. The beginning of every single month, I go into a funk. The very beginning of every month. 8 months this year. All 8 months this year. June, it lasted the longest. I couldn't figure out why. It lasted about 13 days. I changed my birth control in May. The moment I figured it out, the moment I was like, and I was literally like using the toilet when I was like, oh, I changed my birth control. All the feelings went away. Guys, it is all in your mind. It is all in your mind. And when you figure out how to untap it, you can start to prepare for the war. You can start to prepare for the battles. Now I know at the beginning of every month, I'm going to go in a funk. So what do I have? I have an emergency evacuation plan on how to get out of my funk. I teach my tribe how to have an emergency evacuation plan in place because you see, it's not sometimes, you need to prepare just like you're on an airplane and you prepare for the plane to go down before the plane ever goes off. Okay, well, why aren't we doing that with our mindset? Why aren't you protecting yourself ahead of time? That way, whenever the wars come, that way, when the battles come, you know where your gear is. You know what I'm saying? And so doing those things and implementing those things and being able to, trickle that down to your team is absolutely incredible. So, for those of you that might need an evacuation plan, what could that look like? Just to give you an idea, I'm not going to tell you specifically what mine is, but just to give you like a ballpark example of what it is and what I teach to the team. So, whether that's 3 things or that's 5 things, okay, don't make it like 1 or 2. I love odd numbers. I don't know. I'm not like an interior decorator, but they say always decorate in odd numbers. So odd numbers, right? Because like you either win or you lose. You know what I mean? It's not an even number. So now you're like, oh, well, I 50% did this. No, heifer. You either like 66% did or you 66% didn't. So find 3 or 5 things that you can implement that's going to pull yourself out of a funk. It is no one's responsibility to, I just think motivation is such bull crap. I think it's a bull crap term. You can't really motivate yourself and you can't really motivate others. Inspiration is probably a better term. But that is no one's responsibility but yours. And that took me a long time to learn in my life. It took me a long time to learn because I played victim, right? I blamed everybody else because that's easier than grow. It's easier to blame than to change, right? And so having an emergency evacuation plan, what could that mean? Number 1, and this isn't any specific order, okay? Whatever is for you. I'm just going to list off some things. So it could be like a podcast that you listen to, a podcast that you've listened to in the past that really kind of gets you, out of a funk. It inspires you. It lights a fire under your rear. Maybe it's music. Maybe I am not a music guru, which is really sad because my husband was a music pastor for like 8 years of our marriage. Music means nothing to me, okay? It's just background noise. But music is the number one way, music and movement. So like, first and foremost, if you're in a really bad funk, you need to think about what food you're eating and are you exercising? Because those are like the 2, like statistically or like scientifically, those are the 2 ways you can control like your mood, your attitude, your depression, all that. Anyways, but what's an emergency evacuation plan? So maybe it's like a podcast that you listen to. Maybe it's music. Maybe you have a certain playlist that like you know, is, you know, Katy Perry, this like Sierra, blah, 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 whatever it is, you know, Cardi B, I don't know. It could be anything like that. So any kind of music playlist. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go to number 1 first. When number 1 doesn't work, you're going to move on to number 2. And then number 3, maybe it's a book that you read, or maybe it's a YouTube video. I love Eric Thomas. Okay. The E.T. the hip hop preacher. I absolutely love his stuff. He can just light a fire underneath me because he gives it 120% every time he shows up. I can tell he's a dominant red. I value that. I respect that. And I love his drive. I love his hustle. I love his passion. So, you know, you have all these other entities that you are self-sufficient. We often self-destruct, so we need to be able to I don't know what the opposite of self-destruct is. Self-provide, self-build up, self-whatever. And I'm negative 37% green, okay? I don't know big words. If I don't know how to spell a word, I can't use it. That's my go-to rule, okay? If I don't know how to spell it, I can't use it. Anywho, so, you know, you have to learn how to pull yourself out of a funk. So you have these 3 to 5 things that you're going to implement on your own. And then if those don't work, then you're involving someone else. Then maybe you're involving a sideline sister. I don't really like have a lot of sideline sisters that I do that too. I'm always looking for like up growth because I don't want what one of my sideline sisters have. I love all y'all, but I don't know what you got. I got Joel and Stephanie down on my number 1, you know, number 1 on my board for a reason, Heffahhhs, okay? So like, then you reach up and out, okay? But there's a responsibility of you teaching yourself how to pull yourself out of a funk. And it might not happen, but I tell, you know, everyone I know, hey, find a song that brings you back to a happy place. Find a podcast. When you find that one episode that can like really drive you and light a fire under your butt, or it makes you feel really like worthless. Like that's how I'm driven. I'm driven by people using really vulgar language, which is funny because I don't cuss. But like when people make me feel like I'm worthless, I'm like, dang, I am worthless. There's so many more lives to change. That really inspires me. I don't like soft and fluffy, you know, or read a book. If there's a certain book, if it's Bible music, I don't care what it is, but put this plan in place where you say, okay, this is my go-to. And then you save it in your phone or you write it down and you always have it. That way, when you're going to that funk, you're like, these are my things I'm going to do. These are my go-to things. And if those don't work, that's when you're reaching out for help. Then that's when you're like, okay, I've done everything I know to do. And a couple days have passed. I'm not out of this funk because you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings. And so if you're still being pulled in one of those 2 ways, then you got to reach for external help. And that's when you're like knocking down the door of someone. Hey, I need a one-on-one Zoom. Hey, no, I need 10 minutes of your time. Well, I can't today. No, heifer, I need you to talk to me when you've taken a dump. Like, I don't care if you're in the shower, you can turn the camera off. I need you. I need you. Okay. And that's how you have to be aggressive about your mindset. You have to be aggressive about your business. You have to be aggressive about duplication. And so, you know, all that to say, it is absolutely imperative. It all rises and falls on you, your business, 110%. We know we have an amazing company. We know we have amazing products. And so the last entity is always you. It's always internal. God is always taking you to the next level. And don't get it twisted. Like I said, I have bad days. I get in funks. I am like, I have attitude issues. I've got things that I'm working on that my poor tribe, oh, y'all say a prayer for them. They love me. I don't know how they tolerate me, but they do. I am wild and crazy. I am very spastic. I fly by the seat of my pants. I have no organizational skills, and I don't ever want them. I love my blue. I love being wild and abrasive and spunky and sporadic. And, you know, it makes my boat row and it also shoots holes in my boat. So, you know, all I can say is you guys are so much more worthy, and just, you know, you're worth spending 3 minutes when we get off the Zoom and asking yourself if you're living your best life. I'm not talking about a good life. I'm not talking about a life that you tolerate. I'm talking about your best life. And if you're not, you're wasting time. So get back on your pony and ride that thing all the way into town. I don't know. That's my ending. That's all I got.
Oh, this is so good. Thank you so much for doing this. Seriously, like I am like about to cry. This is so good. And I don't cry happy tears. This is so good. So thank you so much for taking time out of your night to do this for us. And my team, I'll be posting a recording so I can give that to y'all, and then I can send you the link if you want it, or it'll be on my YouTube. But
sure.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Oh, girl, on your insert emoji hair flip on your YouTube.
I love it. You just make an account. But yeah, so everybody's saying thank you and that they love you, but this was seriously amazing. So we appreciate you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your night. Bye, guys. Have a good week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.